Ah, yeah. You like my folder, don't you? You're gonna fold stuff. You'll be like, fuck, I need to fold something. I'll use the folder. G'day, I'm Pete and you're watching Feral Fabrications. It's our first project within a project. Last episode we removed this old rusty crossmember from that Ford Capri race car behind me, and I need to be able to fold up a new one. I wasn't really happy just trying to hammer it around a piece of wood or anything like that. It's a front crossmember, I want it to be proper. So I've got myself some materials from an engineer's to make myself a cheap little metal brake, and that's what this video will be about. We'll finish up by folding our new crossmember, as well as the tabs. So, let's get stuck in. So what metal do you need to make yourself a metal brake at home? What I've picked up is some 60mm by 5mm thick angle. I'm just going to need to skim a little bit off the edge of the bench, because you can see this just rocks, so if I try and clamp that down it's just going to bend and distort it. So skim a bit off the bench, that'll clamp down nice and flat, reinforced by the bench, super strong, it'll be great. The next thing is the top of the clamp. Now for that, I've got myself some 75 by 10mm thick bar. Now the only problem with this is the edge of it that will actually be doing a lot of the folding is quite blunt. So what I want to do there is actually just try and file down, probably even with the hand file, I'll see how I go, just a slight degree back. So that means when I'm folding, the metal can actually fold around a sharper point down the bottom without being crushed, and that should give me a much nicer fold. That'll bolt down to the base. The next piece of the puzzle, 50 by 5mm thick angle. Bought 2 meters of this, and it's going to sit on top of the bar once I cut it in half and get welded to it to reinforce it. That'll be the basics of the clamp. A couple of bolts, some handles to tighten it down, some wing nuts or something. The last piece of the puzzle will be the other meter of this 50mm angle, and that'll be used for my bending arms. Now I did think that maybe I'd need to reinforce that. I'm going to try it without reinforcing it. I've got the hinges at the ends, me working the handles in the middle. If it's not strong enough, I'll just cut the handles off, box in the back of the angle, put the handles back on. So not a major. If I find it works fine, it'll never get that mod. Now the actual folding arm is going to be supported at each end with a hinge. For that I've got myself some 16mm bar. This is just what I had lying around. If I was buying some bar, I probably would have gone a little bit thicker so I could put a bigger bolt in. Like, it'd be nice to have like a 10 or a 12mm bolt. The last piece of the puzzle, handles. I would have liked to have some pipe. I've got inch box. It'll be fine. I'll cut it in half. That'll get welded to the bit that does the folding. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Now, to do a few welds. Now, I don't want to go over the top on the welding. I just don't want to warp this bar too much. Yes, I'm liking how this project is turning out. the hinges. So this is the bar I've got, 16mm. I was going to use some 8mm bolts, but looking at it, I think they'll be a bit small, so I'm going to go for some 10mm. I think that'll be a better size. That's going to leave a 3mm wall thickness in the steel, and it should make for a pretty strong hinge. I want to divide the hinge up into 4, so there's 2 pieces on the folder piece and 2 bits on the base, and that should just make for a nice sort of strong and balanced hinge. I think if I just had the hinge split in 2, there could be a lot of twisting force on it, so that's why I want to divide it up into 4. So I want to cut 4 pieces that are 22, so I'll cut them a little bit long so I can face them off in the lathe and make them the exact right length. Pretty good hinge. I've got the reliefs for the hinges cut out. They're 16mm diameter, so I've been cutting a 8mm relief in each side. Except for this one here, I wanted to have it offset slightly this way so that when the arm folds up, it leaves a little bit of a gap. So I've made a 6mm relief there and a 10mm relief in the folding arm. So you can see that's a bit bigger than this one here. So now I'll cut them out with the death wheel on the angle grinder, and we will tack the hinges up. Let's go. Here we are, all tacked up now. I made a wee recess to clear the lock nut, and of course, as luck would have it, with that included, I'm just ever so short on the length I need to actually fold this piece up. So I've had to remove those. That's left a little bit I'm going to have to do a repair on. Shouldn't be difficult though. I've got a little bit of angle line I should just be able to tack weld in there and clean up. So the next thing I'd like to do is get the clamp mounted on here and do the clearancing for the hinge on the clamp. Trim the clamp. Looks like it fits now. So I think at this point I'm going to weld out the hinges fully and then look at my handles. Get my handles done. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Handles cut. It's got such a good folding action. Okay, time to cut my material out for the front crossmember. 1.2 thick mil steel. It's got a zinc coating on it, which will give it a bit of corrosion protection. We'll be cutting it out with the plasma cutter and just going a little bit oversized so I can trim it to fit after I've folded it up and stuff. So, let's get stuck in. The plasma cutter I just got set at 30 amps and just a little bit above 60 psi, and when I'm cutting that does drop down to 60, and it's worked really well. Just measured on the car, I think I'll go 822 long. Yeah, I think I will have to reinforce the back of this. See, it's just bowing it a wee bit. Right, so this is my upgraded handle. It's all triangulated, and then I've also put a tensioning bolt down here so I can crank it up if I need to. I've tried it out, it does sort of fold the top over a little bit, but it definitely helps. So that'll just stop it bowing in the middle, which is what it was doing before. Yeah, way stronger than it was before. And let's just have another go. Yeah. Probably nice. Looks successful. That's take two. This is the first effort. The second one's looking better. So I'm happy with that. We'll go and cut out another piece to make it the real deal. Okay, here we go. Crossmember fold, take two. Oh, it felt good. Right, I need my angle finder. That's pretty close, so what are we looking like? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. So there we have it, the new crossmember, the main fold is done. It's come out pretty good. Try and get you guys to get a good view of that, but it's pretty straight, so I'm really happy with it. And you know, that metal brake's pretty handy being tucked away on the bench like that as well. So if you've enjoyed the vid, hit subscribe. I've got some other ones coming up. The next one being bead rolling. We've got to basically bead roll through here and do a lot of shaping on the bottom as well, to make this crossmember just look like the factory item. So yeah, if you enjoyed the vid, hit subscribe, stick around, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.